Hi, welcome to the session. So, all right, we'll begin with session 2 for module 4. In this week, we talked about GDPR and cookies, and we also talked about CDN, Content Delivery Network, and we talked about website security. So, how to make the website secure. That's important. So what we did for that was to add a privacy policy. I hope you've gone through the links and written a privacy policy for your website. If there is any doubt about it or anything you want to know about writing a privacy policy, please let me know, so that I can share it in detail if required. Okay, so I will share the PPT for now. This is the wrap up of module 4. And in this week, we talked about website security, GDPR compliance, cookies, content delivery network. How to make the website secure was the task for the week. What is GDPR? General Data Protection Regulation. User data is collected on the website, and how the user's data is used by the website owners is defined by the law, the GDPR. It should not be sold or shared with any third party. It should only be used for user benefit and with permission. And user should be given a choice to ask for deleting the data at any point of time. So to comply with this, what we looked at was to to specify an email ID very clearly on your website through which the user can reach out to you at any point of time. Second was to provide a contact form on your site, again, so that the user can reach out to the administrator or the owner of the website. Third was to add a privacy policy, which should transparently specify what all data is being collected and for what purposes it will be used. Fourth was the cookies notice. For a free plan on WordPress.com, it is automatically added to the website, so you do not have to worry about adding a cookies notice. But we looked into different types of cookies. What are cookies? The code that is used to store data. Cookies are stored on user's machine. It collects data from the user end, and it communicates with the website every time the user visits the website. It could be a session cookie which ends with the session, that is when you close the browser window, the session cookies are deleted. Persistent cookies are stored on the hard disk of the user machine, and it stays even after the session is over. That is, even after you close the browser window, you close the website that you are surfing, even then the persistent cookies would remain on the user's system. And it can be deleted from the browser setting, whichever browser you would be using to serve that website. You can go to that browser. So suppose you have Google Chrome. So you can go to settings and delete cookies or temporary data from the browser. That would delete any cookie if it has been stored. These persistent cookies are basically used for a seamless experience of the user on subsequent visit to the same website. So when you have visited the website once and you visit the next time, it remembers what all were your choices and preferences in the first visit. And so there is a customized experience that most of the websites give when you visit the website on subsequent visits. So both the cookies are useful for the users, but this data should not be compromised by the website owners. Website security, we looked into two types of security threats that we have. One is a malicious software and one is of a malicious user. So for a malicious software, it could be through a free plugin, a free theme that could be infected. Most of the times, the freely available themes and plugins on the internet are infected with a hidden malware. So you should always be sure of what you're uploading. Maximum number of times you should try to upload a theme use a theme or plugin from WordPress
directory.
It is safe and secure, even if it is a free theme or plugin, because the WordPress makes sure that it is checked for any malware. But there are other websites which give you plugins and themes for WordPress website. Those websites, when you download these software from those websites, then is when you have to be sure of what you are downloading and from where. But in a free website, free plan under WordPress.com, you do not have the option of installing a plugin. So this will be available to you when you will have a business plan. I think a business plan allows you to have a plugin on your WordPress.com website, or else if you are going to move your website to WordPress.org, that is a self-hosted server. In both the cases, you will have to purchase. Even if you upgrade to a business plan, you will have to purchase the plan. If you plan to move on to a self-hosted server, then you will have to purchase the hosting. Whereas WordPress will be free even then. It is the hosting that you will have to pay for. And in that case, you will have access to the backend files on the server of your website. And you will have access to other features. You will have flexibility and accessibility to a lot of features, like you have accessibility to the database, to the plugins and themes that you have on your website. So you can deal with them through the dashboard and from the backend itself. So all that I have already discussed in session 1, the difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org. Here, when we are talking about malware detection, before uploading any of the theme or plugin, make sure to check it through an antivirus software that it is malware free, and always make sure that it's an authentic website apart from WordPress.com, wherever you are downloading it from. XSS cross-site scripting. This is a kind of malware that is installed onto the user machine through cross-site scripting, and the user's machine is compromised and their data, sensitive data, is hacked or is accessed by the malware that has been installed. SQL injection. SQL is the database, is the language of the database that we use on WordPress. And SQL injection is a little technical term, but what it means is that there is any vulnerability in the programming for the database through which the hackers can inject some code to exploit the database and get access to the database of your website. So that is SQL injection. Malicious users, we have to make sure of the registered users that we have on our website, prevent data on the website, and prevent spamming. There is a setting for specifying the availability of uploading or posting a comment onto your website. So you should always make sure that it is not pre-approved. It is approved by the administrator of the website before it is posted on your site. And then there are unregistered users who are hackers who do not need to register on your website, but they can still hack onto the website through some vulnerability. How do we make sure that we prevent it from any kind of malicious user is also through the login attempts that are allowed. So A is to have two-step authentication so that the user is not able to directly log into your site. Second, if you do not have two-step authentication or you're not using OAuth, then you should make sure that the user is given a limited number of choices to log into your website. Again, there are plugins which enable this feature, wherein you are given only two-step authentication is on WordPress.com. It is already enabled on WordPress.com, and it is done through the email that you register with or the user registers with. So a two-step authentication, it could be through an email or it could be through a phone wherein you send an OTP to the registered phone number. So WordPress.com uses the email ID for two-step authentication. Whenever you try to log in, you are sent a link on the email on which you have to click to get access to your site. So that is two-step authentication. And limiting the number of login attempts, that should be limited so that if a hacker gets access to your user ID and they try to enter the password, then if you have only limited number of attempts allowed, that is, suppose I have only 3 attempts allowed to enter the correct password, then the hacker will have to enter the password, correct password within those 3 attempts. To which if he fails, then the account is blocked and an email is sent onto the original registered email ID for unlocking the account on your website. You would have seen this on some of the websites that if you do not enter the correct password within a limited number of attempts, then your account is blocked. So that is because then the possibility of a hacker or an anonymous user trying to get into your account is prevented. So this is how you can deal with malicious users. Next is a CDN. What is a CDN? It is a content delivery network. It is a distributed data delivery network. What it means is that the data of your website is available on the server. We know that. That server machine resides only at one single instance. That is, only one single server would have the website where it is being hosted from. Through CDN, a copy of that website is made available to multiple servers at distributed locations, which makes the website more available. So here it is, the client sends the request and the server responds to the request. The website is located here on the server. That is only one machine where the website is residing. This is without a CDN. What happens with a CDN? It is a globally distributed network wherein the website is available onto a lot of other machines distributed across the globe, and hence if one of the machine fails, the other machine is made available to the user. We will look into that in a while. So what are the uses of having a CDN are? It gives faster accessibility, better availability. If one of the machine is not available, the other machine is made available to the user. Faster accessibility. So because if I am in India and I am surfing a website which is hosted in US, through CDN, what will happen is the original hosting server is in US, but the CDN would provide properly a server in Asia somewhere. So when I, as a user sitting in India, want to surf the same website, I will be given access to the copy that is available in the Asian server. So the Asian server would be closer to my location. Thus, it is faster accessibility. Lesser bandwidth usage because the request does not have to travel all the way to US server. It will be replied back from the Asian server itself. The added advantages of having a website attached to a CDN include cache. So the website is cached for faster accessibility, and it also gives security. Most of the CDNs give security wherein they enable firewall, malware detection, XSS, cross-site scripting detection. So they have all these features available on the CDN for the websites that are on their network. So coming to the task for the week, it was to make the website secure and to add a privacy policy to your website. We'll just look into okay. So this is Cloudflare. It is a kind of CDN. It is a CDN rather. CDN provider, and as you can see, they have their servers available all across the globe. Currently, I am in India. So suppose I want to access a website which is available on the CDN of Cloudflare. It will be given access, I will be given access to that website through somewhere nearby my location within India. And suppose there is some technical issue with this specific machine or the server, then the next nearest server will be transferred my request, and I will be given access to the website from that specific server. So it will not have to travel to the original server where it is hosted, which could be geographically dispersed at any of the locations, maybe to Australia, maybe somewhere in America or in Europe. So it does not matter then. I will be given access to somewhere, to a place somewhere nearby my location. That is the most important use of a CDN. It also gives you access to other features for security. For example, to mitigate DDoS attack, that is distributed denial of service attack. This we will see in the next module, what is DDoS, when we talk about cybersecurity. So you can read about CDN here on this cloudflare.com/CDN. This will give you an in-depth knowledge if you want to know more about what is a CDN and how does it work. Majorly what it is what I have already shared and discussed. Although it is a paid service, but it is also available for free with some limitations. So if you want, you can register your website to be on a CDN on Cloudflare for free. And it also gives you SSL certificate for free when you register on Cloudflare. But again, that can be done when you have your website on a self-hosted server, not on WordPress.com. Because WordPress.com uses its own network and its own servers. So you do not really need an external CDN. But if you upgrade to a self-hosted, or rather move to a self-hosted server, then is when you can register onto cloudflare.com CDN. And there are other CDNs also, but this is what is majorly used. So that is about the CDN and the website security. Do you have any doubts? Please let me know. I hope I am audible. Okay, thank you, Ella. All right, not an issue if you've not been able to put up the privacy policy this week. You still have time. You can finish it over the weekend or even by the next week. That's all right. Why I insist on it is so that if you finish it during the course period, then I'll be able to help you better. If you come across any difficulty in something, you can always reach out to me. Please do not struggle with anything that you get fixed up with. Just let me know wherever you face any difficulty, and I'm always there. So you can directly message me on Moodle. I can reply back to you instantly if you do that. Rest, I try to reply to everyone personally on the forum also. Still, if I miss out on something or if you still have doubts, please let me know. Ella, I saw your post wherein you were wanting to set up your own website for hosting virtual classes. And you're looking for something like Moodle. In that case, I think you should, I have also seen your blog post or your website that you already have on WordPress.com. So if you plan to integrate Moodle with that website, that is another option you have. But for that, you will have to again upgrade or else move to a self-hosted server. Choose either of the two, or you can let this website remain there and you can have a parallel website on with Moodle on another website that should be on a self-hosted server, because Moodle in itself is an LMS and WordPress is a CMS. So there will always be difference in the features that are available. And for your kind of setup, Moodle is going to be more beneficial, because there you get the options to set up the assignments, set up your virtual classes, and keep a track of your learners in real time. So that is going to be a different experience than using a CMS. We are working on a free plan on WordPress.com, because this is just to get started with your online presence and have a website of your own as a beginner. And so you can get access to, you actually are getting experience as a beginner to what is a domain, and how do you host a website, how do you upload content, and these are the basic things that get clear with a free plan. But when you want additional features or something like an LMS, then you will have to thank you. So if you want an LMS, then that is a different option that you will have to explore. So thank you everyone for joining in. And thank you, Ella. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Helena, for joining in. So that's about this session. Next week, we will look into cybersecurity and cyberbullying. How do we keep a track of cyberbullying, and how do we sensitively handle a situation with young adults? So we will look into that in the next session, next module. So thank you. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.